So if someone had a few days to spend in Baltimore and the area, what would you recommend them doing?
Well, I guess it would depend like what experience they wanted at Baltimore.
Okay, that's makes sense.
I would say some of my favorite areas to see are the Peabody Library. It's this historic
Oh,
library in Baltimore that the architecture inside is just absolutely incredible. Words can't really describe how incredible this library is, but they do visits and you can go in and see all the old original books from this collection. And you can even look at them in the library. You can't check them out, but they
yeah.
do allow viewing of the books. Um, I would say from there, I would definitely spend the night out in Fells Point. There's a lot of restaurants and bars down there. Um, and then from there, I would probably maybe go to the aquarium if you're into that. It's a little expensive though. I
People
don't,
love aquariums.
they do. We have a pretty large one right along the water, and it's pretty popular. I grew up going there. I didn't grow up in Baltimore. I grew up mostly in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia, but we would always take field trips to Baltimore to the aquarium, and I have a lot of memories there throughout school.
You got any like favorite animals at the aquarium that you like?
Um, they have sloths there.
What are
There's
they?
they have sloths there. There
At
aren't
the aquarium. Wow.
yeah, they have a whole other animal exhibit and they have sloths. The that's probably what I remember the most, apart from, like the sharks and things like that.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so we're going to the aquarium. We got the Peabody Museum. We're going out at Fells Point. Anything else?
Probably visit Fort McHenry, where the Star Spangled Banner was conceived in the water around it.
Oh, wow.
But that's a really important battle site, and that's interesting to go to, in my opinion. As well as I'd say, hmm, I don't know. I'd probably go. There's like different parks and things. I'd probably go to. There's Patterson Park, which is pretty prominent. There's another park called Druid Hill that has a big man-made lake. Um, and then from there, there's the art museums, which I may be a little biased because I go to art school, but there's the
How many
um,
art museums are in Baltimore?
there's a couple. Uh, as far as major museums, there's the Baltimore Museum of Art.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite ones. It's kind of the more historic museums. And then as well as the Walters Art Museum, which is another major art museum that's in Baltimore. But I mean, there's so many museums in Baltimore. There's an Edgar Allan Poe house and museum. There,
Oh, yeah.
the B&O Railroad Museum. There's a Maryland Science Center. Um, there's historic ships. Babe Ruth was born in Baltimore.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
there's the Babe Ruth birthplace and museum as well.
Wow.
um,
Yeah, there's almost what 300 years of history.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened. Yeah, I'm someone who loves going to museums and checking everything out. So the Baltimore Museum of Art, that's probably like the fine art museum, like all
Yeah,
the old Renaissance paintings, stuff like that.
I would say so. Moving from that museum to maybe the Walters Museum of Art, that's also got a lot of that old fine art. But the museums in Baltimore have really been pushing to add a lot more newer contemporary art and more
Okay.
representative art, which has been
Yeah.
changing the scene of those museums lately, which is great.
Are there a lot of art galleries in Baltimore?
Oh, what was that? Sorry.
Are there a lot of art galleries in Baltimore?
Yeah. There's a lot of different like hole in the wall areas, as there is the art school, and art in general is pretty prominent in Baltimore. So pretty much I can't even name one or all of them. There's many,
Yeah.
and you can walk down a street and find at least one or two. They're not like New York City where they're these refined art museums. They're more so older buildings that have been renovated enough to hold art in and have exhibitions. And there's some great spaces. One I've been to a couple times is called Current Space. And they host everything from like fashion shows to exhibitions, which is always fun to go to.
That's awesome. I want to switch a little bit over now to photography.
All right.
You got some great photos. How did you originally get interested in photography?
Man, I would say I was 12 years old. They have this program called the Student Ambassador Program. I don't know if you've heard of it, or People to People Student Ambassador Program.
Okay.
Um, it's this program started by Dwight D. Eisenhower in order to bring students to other countries to create relationships and share culture and experiences.
Okay.
The program recently ended, which I didn't know about. I
Oh,
believe
really?
2015, I want to say. So it no longer exists, but at the time it did, and I was selected by through my teachers to be nominated to be a part of this ambassador program. I had to fundraise money, and I eventually got to go overseas for 2 weeks at 12 years old to England and Paris. And
Whoa.
yeah,
At 12 years old? That's awesome.
yeah, it was an incredible experience. There's I think 20 of us and maybe a few more. And through that, I was given a point and shoot camera to take pictures. And I was told to come back with lots of good pictures. And through that trip, taking pictures of all the things I saw, I got this passion for capturing images and moments in time.
Wow.
And from there, it kind of just grew. I went to a church at the time who did live stream services and things. And I kind of got brought up as a and mentored on how to use cameras and how to film and edit video. Um, so I have a lot of videography background, but I always had a stronger passion in photography. When I was 14, I started my own photography business, and
Wow.
my mom would take me to craft fairs. She sold Tupperware at the time,
Okay.
so she would let me make a couple prints and bring a table and go with her to these craft fairs and art and different art shows and set up at 14 and sell my prints of flowers and barns and things that I would find
Wow.
in
How did
restaurants.
that go? You sell some copies there? Some prints?
Uh, yeah, my first one I ever went to, I almost sold all of the prints I had. Um, it was pretty incredible at the time. I look at it now and I look at the pictures I was selling and I'm like, why did anyone buy this? But I would say through that I learned a lot, and I was able to get a camera, and then I started doing photo shoots. And eventually, when I moved to Maryland, I got into kind of the car community. And I started photographing car shows, cars and car events for a couple years.
So you've shot a lot of different things then.
Yeah, I kind of shoot a little bit of everything. I always say the only thing I don't do is babies.
Okay.
I don't take pictures of babies. It's just not something I want to get into.
Yeah.
But I've always had a passion just for photography in general, and pretty much anything you can take a picture of.